So far, more than 900 Israelis are said to have been killed in the past few days. And Israel's response has been swift. Thousands of airstrikes, and Gaza is now cut off from all essential services, including electricity, water and food.
Inside Gaza, it looks every bit as if Palestinians are feeling the full force of Israeli military power. Israel says Hamas is responsible for the suffering of Gaza's civilians. And its retaliation for the Hamas attacks has only just begun. Hamas has threatened to start killing its Israeli hostages. The airstrikes rolled on hour after hour. Palestinian armed groups, undeterred, kept up their own barrage of Israel.
Rockets in the air, rockets in the air. Rockets.
Our BBC team was in Ashkelon, in southern Israel, not far from the Gaza border, when a salvo came in. Ashkelon is so close to Gaza that there is no more than a 10-second warning. Israel is moving in more firepower. The next stage of the offensive against Hamas looks certain to be a ground offensive, much bigger than other incursions since Hamas took over in Gaza in 2007. Lines of cars outside a military base on the road to Gaza were parked by reservists as they reported for duty, getting ready, saying their goodbyes. Parents came to the base for a few minutes with their sons.
We're praying and hope for the best. And it's tough times now. And we're telling him to try and concentrate on his mission without thinking too much about other friends that got injured or killed.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu broadcast to his nation. He said Hamas has made a mistake of historic proportions. We will, he said, exact a price that will be remembered by them and Israel's other enemies for decades. And now Israelis are waiting for their government and army to act. Sderot, the Israeli town closest to Gaza, littered with the debris of war, felt like the essence of Israel's trauma, almost deserted, except for security forces. Hamas has rocketed Sderot for years, but never before stormed in. At the center of the Hamas killing ground was the police station. They broke in and used it as a firebase to shoot civilians as well as soldiers. Blood from Israel's dead and wounded smears the walls. Even here in what is always a frontline town for Israelis, this was not supposed to happen. They expected their military, backed up by the intelligence services, to protect them. And the fact that that didn't happen means that recriminations about who might be responsible have already started. But at the same time, there is a strong sense of national unity with the country under attack about what happens next. In the places that Hamas attacked, Israeli military, as well as the few civilians left, are jumpy, still shocked. A ground offensive didn't feel imminent. And in Gaza, a few miles away, casualties come into the main hospital, the first few hundred of many more. It will get worse. Palestinians and Israelis once more caught on the anvil of war in a conflict a century old that is as deadly as it's ever been. And here in Ashkelon this evening, so far it seems a little bit quieter, and also I'm not hearing the same level of explosions coming from Gaza as during the hours of daylight, but I don't think they will have at all a quiet night. I think on this side, Israelis, they're waiting to see what their government does next. It feels almost like a lull, though back near Gaza, troops are jumpy, certainly pointing their weapons at our cars as we approached their checkpoints, because they are still concerned there could be Hamas people on the loose. And in Gaza, I think there must be an immense sense of trepidation among civilians. And as for Hamas, well, they must have expected a response like this to the enormity of what they did. So perhaps they are prepared. Who knows?